Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management? Joined by Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services at Annex Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Hey, Danny. Thanks for having me.
Right at the top, we've got a big old can of worms that we're about to open up, aren't we?
Oh, you have no idea, Danny.
If you're a regular listener of our shows, you know we've been paying close attention to Secure Act 2.0. How will it affect our clients? It's a far-reaching measure, but for this discussion, we're going to narrow our focus to how Secure Act 2.0 will affect retirement plans such as 401ks. That's Tom's beat. Here he is, but strap in, right? Because this thing's been launched, but it's still being worked on.
Yes, that's correct, Danny. So you cannot hold me to any of the answers I give you today because they keep changing them on us, and the interpretation of a lot of this stuff is not completely set yet.
Right. We just want you to know, folks, that we're paying close attention to it. In fact, a very respected publication came out with something that had inaccuracy.
And it's no condemnation to them for having that happen. It's totally understandable. It's hard to zero in on all these details because there are a lot of if-then scenarios and phasing in over a period of time and all this stuff. So it is legitimately difficult to wrap your arms around all the details of this.
So there's the caveat, but just again, folks, we're on it. We're studying this. Let's talk about some of the things. Bigger catch-ups. That's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So catch-up contributions are for people who are 50 and older. There's the limit that you can put into a 401k plan. For this year, it's $22,500. There's an additional contribution called a catch-up over and above that for people 50 and above. And that's been around for a while. It's been increasing index with inflation. What they're talking about doing is putting in some additional measures to make that even more juiced for people in the future. But then they also put some provisions that, depending on your income and your age, how much can you do over what period of time? The other thing, Danny, is, you started with the perfect topic here with catch-up contributions. Just earlier this week, something came out where the American Retirement Association thinks that they found something in this law where they accidentally may have made catch-up contributions entirely illegal starting next year. Accidentally. So that's,
right.
And I assume if that's the case, they're going to fix it. But that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here.
Right. This is something new. Student loan matching, a little complex. Number one, how does it work? And number two, I got to think that this might be a valuable benefit to include for current and potential employees.
Yeah, so this is the other thing that we always remind people of when you see legislation that impacts retirement plans, is the law expands to allow new things. That does not necessarily mean, however, that your retirement plan allows those things. So each employer has to adopt some of these new provisions, and they have a decision. They either can or they don't have to. First of all, if this applies to your company, you would have to adopt this. What it does is it allows companies to, instead of having you save for retirement and receive that matching contribution, if you are paying off student loans, they have the ability to apply that matching contribution to your loan repayments. So they want to encourage people to get out of debt, to pay off those student loans. And they say, hey, we've got this company match. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to miss out on the match. So I, rather than paying off loans, I'm going to save in the retirement plan. They say, okay, hey, let's do both. You can pay off the loan and we'll give you a little retirement savings in the process. Again, it's going to be complicated and all that stuff, but it's a neat idea. They really do seem to be trying to find a lot of really good solutions with this legislation.
Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services at Annex Wealth Management. We're talking about the effect of Secure Act 2.0 on retirement plans. This provision covering emergency savings. Again, good thing.
For sure. And this is the other thing. This gets to why we talk so much about financial wellness. People oftentimes ask us, they're like, yeah, you're the 401k people. Why are you guys always going to this financial wellness thing? And it's because all of these things are interrelated. And now they are literally officially interrelated by virtue of this legislation. So this is a way, and I'm not going to get into all the details because it's very, again, layers and all this stuff. But there's an opportunity for people to put money in an emergency savings plans. And the record-keeping companies, the Fidelities, the Empowers, the Principals of the world out there are setting up their systems to allow for this to happen. You're looking at $2,500 max, so it really is for an emergency, but they're going to try to find a way to facilitate this for certain people when plans do adopt this provision.
Financial wellness is key. If it is weighing on you coming from your house and going to work, it's going to affect your performance.
Danny, I'm telling you, they should have called this the Financial Wellness Act, really, because that's what so much of it surrounds. It's really cool.
Okay, this is all great. We're talking about 2.0 and what it can do for retirement plans, but again, it's complicated and it's still kind of being worked on. What about companies that don't have 401ks?
Yeah, great question, Danny, because we've been talking about how does this impact people and their retirement plans. What if you don't have one and you're thinking about starting one? There have been incentives for people to start 401k plans for a while. What Secure 2.0 did is they really juiced those incentives. They did make some modifications. The real sweet spot is for those employers who have have 50 or fewer employees, the incentives are extraordinary. Again, details. However, suffice it to say that if you are thinking about starting up a retirement plan and you have 50 or fewer employees, it is likely not going to cost you anywhere near as much as you thought it would by virtue of the tax incentives. So it's a really great way to encourage those smaller employers who have had a hard time breaking that barrier and getting in to offer this benefit. It's helping them get access to this benefit that some of those bigger companies have had.
You and the team are on this. You're studying this. Things are popping up and they're getting corrected or smoothed out.
Danny, there is no way this is going to be the last conversation you and I have about this legislation. There's so much to cover, and like you said, it's constantly changing. Please, everyone, be calm when you hear or read news stories about this stuff. Do not automatically assume all of the things you're reading are necessarily accurate or that they apply to you. We'll keep you posted. We're going to keep this conversation going.
We're on it, folks. Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services, Annex Wealth Management. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Danny.